I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on Amy Lynn Bradley. Amy Lynn Bradley was a 23-year-old American woman who mysteriously disappeared from a Royal Caribbean cruise ship called the Rhapsody of the Seas, March 24th, 1998. This reading was a suggestion by one of my subscribers and viewers. Shouts out to Loco Lulu 87. I appreciate my subscribers and viewers when they suggest content. And as you see, I do add them to my itinerary. So Amy Lynn Bradley was on a family vacation cruise from San Juan, Puerto Rico to various Caribbean islands when on the morning of March 24th, 1998, as the ship was en route to Caraco, she vanished from the cabin she shared with her family. Her father last saw her sleeping on the balcony around 5:30 a.m., but she was gone by 6 a.m. A search of the ship by the crew found no trace of her. The Netherlands, Antilles, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that, but the Netherlands Coast Guard conducted a 4-day search of the surrounding waters, but no body was found. Nobody was ever found for Amy Lynn Bradley. Worldwide media attention. Many books were written and published by various authors on this case. And a recent Netflix series called Amy Bradley is Missing premiered July the 16th, 2025. That's this year. That goes to show even 27 whole years later, this case is still surfacing mainstream. There was recent evidence that surfaced. Actually, this is recent. There are still videos and media coverage uploading on the medias, even as of 8 hours ago, about this new evidence that surfaced that may confirm that Amy Bradley might still be alive. They're saying that she might be held hostage, either against her will or either at will, by sex traffickers who she may have become comfortable with. That's what they're saying. That's the speculation. Y'all know I did my investigation, right? And I also wrote down the dots that I'm going to be connecting on how I got my information. Y'all know I'm a high-ranking oracle and spiritual channeler. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell button so you'll be notified when I drop my investigations, because you are about to witness a high-ranking astro oracle reading. What happened to Amy Lynn Bradley? Where can we find her body, dead or alive? So, I pulled 2 charts. One was her birth chart. Amy was born May the 12th, 1974. And she disappeared March the 24th, 1998. So in Amy's birth chart, the sun was in Taurus and the moon was in Capricorn. And y'all know how I formulate time. Time is the sun divided by moon cycles. So when you put a Capricorn moon in Taurus's house, Sagittarius is rising. I pulled her disappearance chart first, but I can put it up because I'm going to show you. This is Amy's birth chart. Sagittarius is rising. This is a 9th house chart. The 9th house is the chart of foreigners. The 9th house is the chart of foreign travels as well. Also, as y'all know, in the link in the description below of all my readings is a tutorial video called Astro Oracle Tutorial. It is a timestamp video where you can click on any sign, house number, or planet that you hear me talk about or pull in any of my cards. So you will have a general meaning of what that sign means, what that house number means, and what the planets mean. So when you see how they show up in combination with house numbers and signs and planets, you will see how I formulate my story. So you will see for yourself that energy does not lie. Now, Amy Lynn Bradley disappeared from the cruise ship March 24th, 1998, when the sun was in Aries and the moon was in Aquarius. And when you put an Aquarius moon in Aries house, which is the first house, Aquarius comes first. This is an 11th house chart. So she disappeared under an 11th house chart. Let's connect some dots. The first thing I saw was Aquarius, where it was the day she disappeared because it came first, and where Aquarius was in her birth chart, which was in the third house, the local environment of that cruise ship. Because remember, they're on a cruise ship out in the ocean. The third house represents the local environment, the immediate environment. So the immediate environment on that cruise ship is the third house. Because the only other immediate environment is the sea. And the first thing that came to my head when I heard this story was either she jumped or she was pushed. But here's what was surfacing. Here's what I saw in the charts once I pulled the charts. Now, Aquarius is the individual. Aquarius in the 11th house rules groups, gangs, organizations, memberships, sororities, fraternities, brotherhoods. It rules group consciousness and group effort, more than one individual. It is also the house of humanity as a whole. That's why this is the energy of the rainbow. Not because the rainbow represents LGBTQ, which there is nothing wrong with LGBTQ because they're just as human as everybody else. They're a part of humanity. But the rainbow actually represents all of humanity. All religions, all walks of life, all races, all shapes, all sizes, all colors, all this and all that. That is the rainbow. Okay? So everybody is equal when it comes to the human condition because we all are human. And no human is perfect. So nobody can judge. So this is what Aquarius energy is all about. Okay? So when Aquarius comes first, there is a friend, an individual with whom she had a romantic relationship with on the ship. How do I know this relationship was romantic? Because for one, Aquarius comes first. That represents the individual. Now, when I look inside of the 11th house, which is Aquarius's house, I see Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is Amy's birth chart energy. That's what comes first. That's her ascendant. That's what's rising. So this was a member, a group member that was a part of Amy's crowd that she was with. And remember, this was a family vacation. But this individual was not family. But this individual was on that ship, a part of that group that she was with. Now, the romantic aspect of this comes when you look in the actual ninth house. Because remember, Amy's chart is a ninth house chart. It's a ninth house chart because of Sagittarius comes first. And Sagittarius is the ninth energy in the zodiac. But if you actually look in the ninth house of the ninth house chart, you will see Leo, which is the energy of romance, celebrations. And Leo in the ninth house represents cruises, celebrations that involve long distance travels. Make sure y'all are utilizing my tutorial in the link below. Okay? Leo showing up in the ninth house is definitely a romantic celebration and can definitely mean a cruise. Vacations, definitely vacations, especially Leo energy in the ninth house is a foreign vacation, right? So look in the actual ninth house the day Amy disappeared. And look what I see. Libra. I see the partner. Libra is the partner, the significant other. Whether it's the agreeable partner or the disagreeable partner. Libra represents the partner and the enemy, the significant other. So, this type of partnership, which was on this cruise ship during this long distance travels out of the country, other islands, other lands, was romantic in nature. Now, Sagittarius comes first in Amy's chart, which is how I know that this Aquarius friend was Amy's friend, because look where Amy is at in Aquarius's house, the 11th house, the day she disappeared. And this is an 11th house chart. And I just seen 1111 on the screen. Let's follow Jupiter to elaborate on this friendship. Then we're going to follow Uranus to elaborate on the actual friend. So Sagittarius comes first in Amy's chart. Jupiter is in Pisces. Jupiter is in Pisces both when Amy was born in her birth chart, and Jupiter was in Pisces the day Amy disappeared. So where's Pisces at the day she actually disappeared? That'll give us a clue to who's responsible. The who, what, where, when, and why. Pisces is in the house of money, which is the second house. So this is letting me know somebody suffered a financial loss. This can let me know how Amy had an interaction with this individual. Something that had to do with money. Financial loss. Pisces represent loss. Not because it's a bad thing, but because it represents the kind of things that you need to let go. Because when you let go, you tap into a higher power. This higher power is what we call God. It lives inside of all of us. If you are out somewhere and your car breaks down and you don't know what to do and you let it go, but you have to find out what you're going to do. As soon as you let it go, that means you suffered a loss. Now, this process of letting go opens up room for the higher power to reach you, meaning you're no longer in God's way. Your car's going to get fixed. You're going to get off the street, but you have to let it go in order for God to reach you. And God lives in everybody. So God will pull up on you through a whole nother person, maybe a whole nother race, a whole nother religion, a whole nother walk of life, whatever. But you're not concerned with that because you don't know how God is going to show up. And when I say the spirit and God, I'm not talking about it could be a good thing or a bad thing. It just is. And you have to have faith that this union is designed to help you. So, this letting go happened in the house of money, which lets me know that there is somebody experienced a financial loss. And that created an interaction for somebody to step in and help out. Now, where it went left, we're going to find out. Where is Pisces at in Amy's birth chart? It's in the fourth house of home and family. This was a home and family vacation, but they were traveling, right? So, this energy was something that was hiding in the family energy. And whoever was hiding among her family vacation was responsible for her disappearance and possibly her death. Because this is Cancer's house. And look where Cancer is at in Amy's chart, in the house of death. But let me also tell you what Cancer means in the eighth house. Cancer represents her being in somebody else's house. Now, if they're on a cruise, how can Amy be in somebody else's house? Well, if you look in the eighth house of death, the day she disappeared, you will see a co-worker. Virgo. Virgo is the energy of the worker, the servant, the employee. Virgo represents the workforce. Virgo rules the sixth house. Look what you see in Virgo's house. Cancer. The energy that you saw in Amy's house of death, right? So, if Virgo is the worker and it showed up in the house of death the day Amy disappeared, you know what that tells me? She ran into somebody who works on that ship. Now, people who work on the ship also have a home cabin as well. There are people who live on ships, cruise ships. Those are the people who work on the ship. But you also have retired people who live on ships too now. Now, I'm not sure if this was that kind of ship that you can live on as a retiree or retired person. But what I do know is that there are specific cabins, home cabins, for people who work on the cruise ship. And if this was that type of cruise ship of any sort, it would make sense because that is exactly what I see in Amy's death energy and missing energy. Because Pisces also represents the missing, the lost, what we cannot see. It's hiding, what is hidden. Now, Pisces is in Taurus's house of money and material the day she went missing. Look where Taurus is at in Amy's birth chart. It's in the sixth house. There go that sixth house again. That's the workforce. That's Virgo's house. Now, where was Virgo at? Where's Virgo energy at in Amy's birth chart? It's in the 10th house of an authority figure. Somebody who can help us. Somebody that we go to for help. A worker in a position of authority. The 10th house is the house of authority. That's Capricorn's house. And look where Capricorn is at in Amy's chart. In the second house of money. The second house showed up again. Where Pisces is in the second house the day she disappeared. So this hidden activity involves a co-worker who is in a position of authority. What type of authority? Financial authority over Amy. Or this can be Amy's financial authority over somebody on the ship. Either way it go, she met somebody who was alone on that ship. So if she would have showed up missing, that person is also missing. But see, nobody's looking for that person. They're looking for Amy because Amy's not supposed to be missing. Whether that person is missing or not, nobody's going to pop up and say, oh, Julio is missing. Let's find him. No, we don't got to find Julio. He's somewhere minding his business. But see, Amy is only on that ship for a family vacation. So when she shows up missing, people are going to look for her. She's not supposed to be missing on a cruise ship. That's what I'm seeing in the charts. She met with somebody on that ship, and there was some hidden financial activities going on. And this meeting led to a romance. Why? Because the ship and the vacation is a ninth house experience. When Leo is there, this is a celebration and a romance. This is a recreational activity. Cruise ships are fun. They're full of fun. Vacations are full of fun. Leo is our fun energy. It is our romantic energy. And it's in the house of foreign travels. That's Sagittarius' house. And Sagittarius comes first. And this is Amy's chart. Sagittarius, the day Amy disappeared, is in the house of individuals, the strangers, the friends. This is Aquarius's house, the 11th house, which is why Aquarius comes 1st. Now, where's Aquarius at? Where's Aquarius energy in Amy's chart? Right there in the 3rd house, the local environment of that cruise ship. Because the only other local environment, which is what the 3rd house represents, local environment and local interactions. The only other local part of the environment on a cruise ship is the water. So either she was pushed or she jumped at will. Either way it go, whatever happened to Amy and whoever she came in contact with who has something to do with it, she met on that local, in that local environment of the cruise. Now, if we follow Jupiter, which we're going to follow to elaborate on Sagittarius, and we're going to follow Uranus to see if they connect in any form or fashion. Now, Jupiter, the day Amy was born and the day she disappeared, are both in Pisces. The hidden, right here. Pisces is right here in the house of home and family. This is a home and family vacation on a cruise. This is Cancer's house, but Pisces is there. Though that means that a lot of hidden activity involving family would take place wherever Cancer is at in the chart of not only Amy, but where Cancer is at in the disappearance chart. Now, Cancer energy is in Amy's house of death. Does that mean somebody in her family did it? Not necessarily, because Cancer can also represent somebody else's house, somebody else's family, somebody else's culture. This is how I know this is a foreigner. The person responsible for assisting Amy and whatever happened to her is foreign, of a foreign culture and descent from Amy. This is not somebody that's the same culture as Amy. They are totally different, which is what Aquarius represents. Sagittarius represents foreigners too, but Aquarius also represents somebody of not only of a different race, but of a whole different background and culture. They speak a totally different language than Amy. Now, how I know this is a romantic relationship is because Libra rules the partner. And look what's in the 9th house of this foreign travel on the ship the day she disappeared. Libra. This is how I know this is somebody she developed a relationship with. And this relationship was romantic in nature, playful romance, because Leo is there in her chart. So this is how she embraced any relationship that she would have encountered during foreign travels, which is what the 9th house is all about. That's Sagittarius' house. Now, look where this actual partner is at in Amy's energy. It's in the 11th house. That's Aquarius's house. And it's ironic that the 11th house actually comes first the day she disappeared. This is how I know this is a partner. You can't make this up. All the dots connect to this romantic relationship that she had on this cruise ship. And if you look in the 9th house the day she disappeared, you will see Libra. You can't make this up. Where did she meet this person? Right there on the ship. That's the Aquarian individual that comes first the day she disappeared. Now let's follow Uranus to see where this relationship led. Uranus, the day she disappeared, was actually right here in Aquarius, and Amy's Uranus is in Libra. You cannot make this up. Now, to elaborate more, let's follow Venus, because Venus rules Libra. Since all the dots lead to Libra right now, let's follow Venus. Venus was also in Aquarius the day she disappeared. But guess where Amy's Venus is? Her Venus is in Aries. And look where Aries is at the day she disappeared, right there in the local environment where all the cabins are. That's where the friend was in Amy's energy. Aries represents the one who was all by themselves. Aries represents number one, the self, right there. And that is who came first. Because Venus, which comes from this relationship, is right there. Mars rules Aries. Now we follow Mars. Mars that day was in Aries. Mars that day was in Aries. Now, Amy's Mars was in Cancer. And look where Cancer is at. The house of death. So, what this is showing me is that Amy, I'm seeing a hidden financial situation. I'm seeing an individual that she was fooling around with romantically on that ship. And I'm seeing somebody else's family, somebody else's home. Because the eighth house not only represents death, but it represents what belongs to somebody else. This is home. A co-worker on that ship. How do I know it's a co-worker on that ship? Because look in the house of death and what belongs to somebody else the day she disappeared. Virgo. That's the employee. And the employee, if you go to Virgo's actual house, which is the sixth house, you will see the employee's home. You can't make this up. The employee's home. Y'all ready to pull cards? Because I'm ready to pull cards. Amy Lynn Bradley. Where are you? And what happened? Amy Lynn Bradley. What happened to you? And where are you? Amy Lynn Bradley, born May 12, 1974. There's only one Amy Lynn Bradley that ever existed. Born May 12, 1974, who disappeared on a cruise family vacation called, hold up, I'm going to get to what this ship is called because we're tuning into the one and only Amy Lynn Bradley. So that way no other energy can tune in. No other energy can account for Amy Lynn Bradley, born May 12, 1974, who disappeared from the Royal Caribbean cruise ship called the Rhapsody of the Seas, March 24th, 1998. That is the only Amy Lynn Bradley. Where are you? In 3 cards. I'm going to pull 3 cards, Amy. Talk to me in 3 cards. What happened to you? And where are you? What happened to you, Amy Lynn Bradley? And where are you? One, 2, 3. Look at that. Look at that. Look the fuck at that. Look at that. 6th house. Told you that's Virgo's house. Remember I told you the employee, that's Virgo, and that's Virgo's house. The employee's house. 6th house. That's where she's at. Right? Now, we don't know if she's dead or alive, but I believe she's dead. You know how I know she's dead? Because look what also she pulled. Pluto. That is the planet of death. That is the planet that rules the 8th house. That is the planet that rules Scorpio. Where was Pluto at the day she disappeared? Pluto was in Sagittarius because she's letting us know she is dead. Pluto was right there, Sagittarius. She letting us know she is dead. And where is she dead at? In the person's home. Right there. In the person's home. What person? Aries. Where was Aries at? Right there. Right there in the local environment. That's where she met. Remember, I told you that person that was all by themselves. It wouldn't have made a difference if this person's missing. Now, this person may just be an Aries. They may be somebody who was born in late March, early April. But that doesn't limit them to being an Aries. This is just a sign that led us to describe the nature of this whole disappearance. This was a person who was all by themselves. It made a difference when Amy went missing, not when this person, ain't nobody looking for this person, and this person is still in plain sight. Why? Because nobody's looking for them. They weren't the one on a family vacation. That person was right where they were supposed to be. So nobody's looking for something that's where it's supposed to be. They're only looking for something in somebody that is not where they're supposed to be, where they are missing. Amy was supposed to be with her family on that ship, and she went missing. Aries. Remember, we followed Aries. Right there in that local environment. Mars rules Aries. Where was Mars at? Mars in Amy's chart was in Cancer, the energy of the other house, which is who killed her. This is the person that killed her. And her body is in their house. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Amy. First, who? Give us a clue. Who? Who did this to you? Who did this to you? Who did this to you? Elaborate on this Aries energy. Elaborate on this individual that is responsible for what happened to you and where you are at. Who did this to you, Amy? That came out. Look at that. Look at that. That dropped out. The Lover in the 7th house. That's Libra. That is the Libra card. That is the Libra. The 7th house is the Libra that she was in a relationship with. This is a Libra card. But if you look in the 7th house, what do you see? Leo. That romantic love affair that was in the 9th house. Look at that. Leo is in the 9th house. That romantic lover that she was fooling around with on the ship. Right? Right there in the 7th house. That's Libra's house. This is Libra energy. And it's in the 9th house on the ship traveling. Now, this romantic, where was she most likely to meet this lover at on the ship? Well, look in Libra's house. You see Gemini. Gemini rules the 3rd house. Look what's in the 3rd house the day she disappeared. Aries. Aries, right there. The person she met on the ship. She had an affair on the ship. The sun rules Leo. And guess where the sun was the day she disappeared? The very first line. Aries. The sun was right here. Right there in Gemini's house. the third house. And look where Gemini is at the day she disappeared. In Leo's house, the fifth house. That's Leo's house. Look where Gemini is at. That interaction that she had with this individual. It was a romantic interaction. That's Leo's house. Look where Leo is. In the seventh house. The lover. Amy, help us find your body. Where's your body at? Where is your body at, Amy? Finding your body will lay this case to rest and bring justice to your families so they can rest. People want to know, Amy, where is your body? Whether it's dead or alive, where is your body? Where is the body of Amy Lynn Bradley, born May 12, 1974, who disappeared March 21st, 1998 off of the cruise ship? Where is the body of Amy Lynn Bradley? In a body of water. So she was killed in the other person's cabin, and she was thrown overboard. But I don't think she was thrown overboard with her body. She's in something. She's in something. Now, in the body of water, that's Aries' house. Aries is the first house. Okay? And we do know they were on water. This makes sense. This makes sense. Also, what makes sense is that her body may be in one of those cabins. It may have been chopped up on one of those cabins, but still on that ship that was out on the water. This body of water in the first house doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually in the water. It's on the water because the whole ship was on the water. They did a search, but they couldn't find the body. But she was killed before her body, if it's in the water, entered the water. Now, in the first house, we have Sagittarius. This can very well be the ship, because Sagittarius represents travel, long distance travel, flight travel, boat travel, ships. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And Jupiter was in Pisces. Right there in the fourth house. That's Cancer's house. And Pisces rules the water. But that's not why her body's in the body of water. Cancer is over here in the house of death, which represents where she died at. She was dead before she was put in that water. And the person who killed her was on that ship. Virgo represents the worker, but it also represents the help. Because Cancer not only represents somebody else's house, but Cancer also represents the family. Did her family have something to do with it? Are they helping us find what they already know? Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you'll be notified when I drop my investigations. Y'all be blessed.